अस्सलाम वालेकुम। एम्बेसी रोड में खुश आमदीद नाज़रीन। आज हमारे मेहमान हैं पाकिस्तान में फ़लस्तीन के सफ़ीर हाज़िम अबू शनाब, और हमारी उनसे आज गुफ्तगू होगी जो इस वक्त यूनाइटेड नेशंस में फ़लस्तीन का मसला पेश किया जा रहा है, और फ़लस्तीनी जो हैं उन्होंने फैसला किया है कि वो अलग रियासत के तौर पर, एक इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट के तौर पर अपनी नुमाइंदगी चाह रहे हैं यूनाइटेड नेशंस में। इसकी बड़ी मुखालफत की जा रही है। अमेरिका, इसराइल और उनके कुछ हलीफ जो है वो इसकी मुखालफत कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इस्लामी दुनिया जो है वो मुत्तहिद है, और इस्लामी दुनिया जिनमें पाकिस्तान भी शामिल है वो फ़लस्तीन की इस कोशिश को पूरी तरह उसकी मदद कर रहे हैं। यही हमारा आज का मौजू है। Ambassador, thank you for joining us this program.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. What's happening at the United Nations at the moment?
A big ceremony, a big event is happening in the United Nations. At this time, there is a session for the General Assembly, which is should be held annually, but there is something very special will happen this time. Palestine is going to ask for the full membership as an independent state in the UN. Palestine should present an application to Mr. Ban Ki-moon,
Secretary General.
Yes, he's the Secretary General of the UN, and Mr. President Mahmoud Abbas is taking the application for His Excellency. We will ask for our right of independent state, and regarding the law, we are asking for for a recognition from the UN General Assembly and the Security Council to have a full membership as an independent state, which is called Palestine, on the lands that were occupied by the Israeli occupation forces on 1967.
Master, how sure Palestinians are that they will get support of the Islamic world in the first place, and then the other countries of the world, excluding United States, Israel, and some other countries?
We trust in Allah, and we trust in ourselves, and of course we trust in our brothers in Pakistan, in the OIC, in the Arab League, in the non-allied countries, in all the countries that they are always supported the just issue of Palestine. Everyone that claimed for a moment that he is a supporter for freedom, for independence, for justice, and for democracy is now his time. It is the time to see that these countries and peoples are supporting the independence of Palestine. So we are very sure that we are going to gain what we deserve, which is independence.
OIC is a representative body of the Islamic world. So you are sure that all of the members of the OIC will vote for the resolutions that you are going to move?
Of course, we are full of hope of that. We heard so much good words from them that they are all supportive. The OIC in the last session, they issued a statement which is, as always, the full support for Palestine, for independence. The last session was also very important, and we heard that and we saw it on legal statements issued by the Secretariat and by all the all the Islamic Ummah, all the Islamic countries that were participating in the meeting.
So do you think that there will be no dissident, there will be no voice of difference or dissent within OIC?
I don't believe that there is a reason for any kind of difference. I believe that, again, as I started to say from the beginning, that everyone that claimed, every country that claimed, every leader that claimed, every politician that did say in one day that he is supportive to the democracy, supportive to the
right
justice,
self-determination.
This is the time now that he has to say yes for the independence of Palestine. So why there should be any kind of differences? Why there should be any kind of retreatment? Why there should be any kind of going a step back towards against what's happening in the UN? Everyone is talking about the right of the Palestinians of having their self-determination by having an independent state which is called Palestine. The history and the resolutions of the UN did talk about dividation of Palestine, the land of Palestine. So we are talking about a right which was absent for decades, for almost a century, because of the Israeli occupation. And we are trying to regain this right, which was absent because of the occupation, the Israeli occupation. And I believe that Allah will not make us disappointed. And I think that all the Islamic peoples are supportive to their regimes, their governments, their leaders, to go towards recognition of Palestine.
The United States of America and Israel, they are together, and they
are not from the OIC, as I know.
No, they are not. But they are they are very important countries, and the United States is a superpower now, and Israel and America both are trying their level best. They have started an intense lobbying at the United Nations that this move by Palestinians should be thwarted. What are the prospects of a failure at the United Nations with regard to this resolution?
I think, again, that it is our right, and we are going for our right, and we are very determined to go for our right, for having this application of the independence of the state of Palestine to be the state number 194 in the General Assembly of the UN. The failure is, as there is success, there is failure. Everything is
the chances of failures. How many chances?
It's very weak. It's not too much strong, unless the one of the great five powers did use the veto in the Security Council. In this case, that there will be opposing of recognition of the independence of Palestine. And as you know, you look very disappointed with these words, and I am very optimistic that no one will use this veto, because there will be no reason in front of anyone to use this veto. Everyone is expecting the independence of Palestine since decades, and everyone did hear President Obama while he was in University of Cairo.
Cairo, yes.
And he said, Assalamu alaikum, and he said, I want to see an independent state of Palestine as a neighbor to Israel. So this is the time that we say, alaykum assalam, we are receiving our independent country of Palestine. And he can celebrate with not only with the Muslim countries, but with the international community. I think that even the Americans did hear him when he said that. Last year, as I remember, in September in the United States, when another startup of negotiations following the regarding the peace process in the United States, President Obama did say also in the UN that I hope, I'm quoting now from President
Obama,
I hope that next September we would see the Palestinian flag raised here in the UN representing Palestine, the state of Palestine. So we are in September, President Obama. We are in September, everyone. We are in September and waiting for raising the flag of Palestine representing the state of Palestine, which is on board, which will be on the border.
You are very optimistic, but the history is replete with examples that Israelis and the Security Council, United Nations, US made so many promises with the Palestinians and many other countries of the world, but these promises were never carried out. So how sure you are, how optimistic you are that this time around these promises will be carried out?
The question is not that I'm optimistic and I'm not optimistic. The question is that we are pushing towards going for that optimistic atmosphere. If it is not happening, and if we are going to face the veto from any country, the United States did say that they will use the veto. If they did that, I'm telling you, we are going to the General Assembly. If we face
it is vetoed at the Security Council,
the veto cannot be used but in the Security Council. And if one of the 5 permanent members will use, which the United States did say that they would use, in this case we will go for the General Assembly, which is represented by 193 countries. And there I strongly believe that we are going to gain and we are going to win. So nothing.
How many votes are you expecting?
Too much.
No, any number?
More than the 2/3.
2/3. That's great. But Excellency, when the Palestinian delegation is there, and they are talking to various people, and the United States is trying to basically desist the Palestinians not to present this resolution. What are they offering you in return?
The United States?
Yes.
Talks. More talking, more to Benjamin Netanyahu and his foreign minister, which is very well known as he's very fundamentalist and he
anti-Arab, anti-Muslim,
anti-human. He is he's saying in very famous statements that he wants to bomb the High Dome in Egypt, and he wants to crush the heads of different countries, Lebanese, Iraqis, Saudis, and everyone. Of course, the Palestinians, you can say so many words that he is using that my tongue cannot repeat again. He is out of diplomacy. He's out of rational also. So he's a very irrational person, but he says what he wants to say, and we act what we want to act. We are acting diplomatically, peacefully, politically, and we are showing an example to the international community, to the UN, to everyone, that we the Palestinians did our best in resistance and in fighting back the occupation. We are using a new means for us, which is the diplomacy, the politics, and we are winning again. We want to go to the UN, which is a big assembly representing the entire community, the entire world, and using a very peaceful means. We are presenting papers, asking for our rights, and we want to go back with other papers to our people to say that we won.
नाज़रीन एक मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं और ब्रेक से वापसी के बाद हम पाकिस्तान में फ़लस्तीन के सफ़ीर से ये गुफ्तगू जारी रखेंगे। वो बहुत पुरुमीद नज़र आते हैं कि यूनाइटेड नेशंस में अगर सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल में उनको नाकामी हुई तो जनरल असम्बली में वो ज़रूर कामयाब होंगे और बड़ी अक्सरियत फ़लस्तीन को अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा का रुकन बनाने में उनकी मदद और एआनत करेगी। वेलकम बैक। हमारी गुफ्तगू हो रही है पाकिस्तान में फ़लस्तीन के सफ़ीर से मोहतरम हाज़िम अबू शनाब से। Now, the talks have been going on for the resolution of the Palestinian issue for so many decades, for the last 60 years. And do you think that once again the United States and big powers, if they offer you to talk more and they will be able to arrive at some solution, do you believe them?
I think that we have to exert the effort again. But I think that also after we had that bad experience with the Israelis and with their supporters by not achieving any fruit, any result of the negotiations for almost 2 decades, we are negotiating with the Israelis under the umbrella of the United States, the UN, the Quartet, the Europeans, everyone, and we are not achieving
the Oslo dialogue, Oslo agreement.
Oslo is an agreement, but the talks were under the umbrella of all of these. All the international community is involved with that. I think that there is a need of changing the balance of what's happening. As long as the Israelis are having the balance in their hands, so no result will be achieved. Any occupier will not give up his taking over the lands that he is taking, and he will not give up, this occupier will not give up the control that he is taking. So you have to change the balance. Now, when we are going to the UN, and inshallah we will win there, this means that we are getting back to the international community, to our enemies, which we think that they might turn into partners if they succeeded in changing their way of thinking, attitude, and maybe their leadership. So we can go for other, not negotiations, but for a peace process that can be ended in a certain time with the different references, legal differences.
What is the main objection of the United States and Israel to your demand to become a member or an independent member of the United Nations General Assembly. What is the main objection to that?
Israel says that it should be coming only through negotiations. And in negotiations, they only want to see the Palestinians are surrendering and raising the white flag. During the 19 years of negotiations, we didn't raise the white flag. But they insist that we would do. We will never do that.
They want you to be a subservient state of Israel.
That's it. And this is unacceptable. But they don't want to. They don't want us to be a state, even though they don't want us to be a state. They only want us to be in the same shape that we are having. That you are people under occupation, with no identity. Okay. Now we want to go for changing this and put it in the formal form, which is that we will be a state under occupation. This will change again the references of any peace process in the future. This will change the umbrella that we are going to work under in the next future. This will put the international community, every country, under responsibility towards this new state, which will be born under the umbrella of the UN. This will mean that we will have another attitude that we will start to act with. We have at that time, we will have the right to go to be a member of all the international organizations, especially the legal ones.
Which is not acceptable to Israel. There was a meeting, there was a report that a meeting took place between the Palestinian representative and the Israeli defense minister. What happened in that meeting?
Of course, the Israeli representative tried to convince Mr. Salam Fayyad, the Prime Minister of Palestine, to not to go to the UN and look for a recognition from the UN. And he said that it can be through the bilateral negotiations between Palestinians and Israelis. Of course, we refused, and we said that we are having these negotiations since almost 2 decades, and with no results. So we need to hear a voice and to see an action from the UN and from the countries, and this will will correct the balance again between the two parties. And until that, he is asked also, Mr. Barak, who tried to show some kind of softness in his words towards changing the hard words that they are using and the hard arms that they are using against our people, especially inside Palestine. So if he can do that, it means that he can make a change inside his society which is turning into a very violent society, and his society which is turning regarding the winning of the right wing and the settlers of the Knesset, being parliament members in the Israeli parliament. They are changing the constitution from a democratic constitution to a very strange constitution that they can, by their own law, they can do so many tyrant and non-democratic actions against their people and our people.
Ambassador, did you see the statement of the Israeli foreign minister, which was very harsh, and it was a threat to Palestinians that if they go to the United Nations, they will have to face dire consequences of this move. What do you expect from them?
From the Israelis? Yes. Israel's occupation.
No, more than that. Can they start a new wave of repression against Palestinians?
I'm telling you, Israel's occupation. Occupation is terrorism. Terrorism means killing. Killing means blood. Blood means we are going to die. Again, if the price is that we die again, let's die again. We don't care if we are going to pay this price. Freedom costs too much. Since about a decade, and the Israelis, the occupiers, are making us paying the price of being dead. We don't care about that. We are still stick to our goal. We want independence. We want freedom. We want Palestine back. Either he understands that, Lieberman, or he doesn't understand. In all cases, we are continuing. He can use his tanks, he can use his F-16, he can use M16, he can use any 16. But at the end, we are continuing our role, and we are going towards independence, and he will see that.
This move is being supported by the Islamic world, OIC, and many other countries in the world. But if something happens again, I mean, Israelis resort to violence and they start killing and bombing the innocent Palestinians in Gaza and other areas, West Bank, what will be the reaction of the Islamic world?
You are talking about something has already started, by the way, my friend.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm telling you, I want to focus on something that is happening nowadays. While we are sitting here together, the Israeli settlers started to jump over the Palestinian lands, and they are using some trained violent dogs that they started to attack the farmers and their farms in the West Bank, and they started to burn the trees of the olives that we consider as one important plant that we are planting in the Holy Land, and it is something that we depend on in our economy. There are so many industries depends on the olive trees, and they are burning, cutting, attacking the farmers.
After you have decided to go to UN?
Yes. You see, so they want to do that, and they have started to do that. And the Israeli army is existed there. They are watching. They don't interfere. But when the Palestinians are trying to defend themselves or to protect their lands, they interfere and start to shoot against the Palestinians. So they want the violence to start up again. The Israelis. Until now, we are taking very good control of ourselves. But again, as Yasser Arafat said, don't let the green olive grace fallen from our hands. We are stick to peace, but we also have our patience.
We'll continue this discussion. एक मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं और ब्रेक से वापसी के बाद हम पाकिस्तान में फ़लस्तीन के सफ़ीर से मज़ीद गुफ्तगू जो है वो जारी रखेंगे. वेलकम बैक. हमारी गुफ्तगू हो रही है पाकिस्तान में फ़लस्तीन के सफ़ीर से. Excellency, Israelis, as the history shows us, they are very callous, and they have killed thousands of Palestinians.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yes, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians in order to sustain their illegal occupation. This time, if they start this repressive move against Palestinians, they will do it with vengeance. So, what do you expect?
Yeah, violence brings violence always, and blood brings blood always. And I hope that the Israelis will not go so crazy to do that, because everything will be expected in that case. I believe that the international community has a commitment, and the international community is watching since a time and seeing us as Palestinians are with very big distance between us and the violence. And we are victims since decades, since almost a century. And we are willing to have our freedom. The international law gives us the right to defend ourselves. We cannot be under harm, under killing, under violation, under aggression, and to stand quiet and only to give right cheek and left cheek.
In the last 60 years, during your struggle for the independence of Palestine, the Islamic world has frustrated you, in fact. They haven't been able to support the way they should have supported the Palestinians. But this move again is a turning point in this history of struggle against the Israeli occupation. What do you expect from the Islamic world? Will they come all out for your support, or they will be using the old tactics, the old diplomacy? What is your expectation?
I'm not going to say some descriptive words against the OIC members. I would say that we are expecting that they would develop their positions and their words, as you said, to be more positive and supportive to the Palestinian right. Since the very beginning, they know that we are paying a price that they should have paid, but we are paying this price. This is not a compliment. We are not saying that we want them to do something like paying back. No, 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 no. We only just saying that we want to see them developing their positions in better negative positions that we are expecting from them, their peoples are expecting from them, you are expecting from them, and we will see them that they are voting, supporting the issue of Palestine in the UN, and not to go under any, not to accept to be under any pressure from any country.
The situation is changing. The scenario is changing in Middle East around Palestine. Revolution in Egypt, in Tunis.
The Arab Spring.
Yes, and Arab Spring, and Syria, and many other countries are being hit by this Arab Spring. Does this move, the move in the United Nations to get a membership of the United Nations as an independent state, is inspired by this change, by this Arab Spring?
You mean would the spring go for the to New York?
Yes.
Yes. I think that everyone is noticing and understanding that the changes which are happening in the region, especially in the Arab world, shows that the peoples who stayed for long time for to see their dreams coming true. One of their important dreams, as we said in last interview, you remember that we said that, and I'm saying that again, that the people's one of their important goals was the independence of Palestine. Now the movements are more, what to say, ripe and crystallized in the Arab world, and they are showing a better strength in front of the international media and in the international organizations. I think this will give an echo, this will give an impression to the leaders of the countries to understand that the Arabs are not anymore giving a chance to have the morphine and stay calm. They are moving. You can notice also while we were watching on the news that the protesters did go for the
Israeli embassy in Egypt.
In Egypt, in Jordan, and maybe in other places, which means that they are refusing, not they are refusing the persons who are existed there. They are refusing the
concept and idea,
the injustice, the aggression, the occupation, the terrorism the Israelis are using against their brothers, the Palestinians, and they are giving a big sign to the United States and to the UN and any other organization that the Arabs are not going to stay calm longer. Anyone you would like him to be not angry and to reduce his tension, you should give him something of his rights. If you are not giving him all of his rights, so you have to show flexibility.
Is Israel conscious of the fact that the situation is changing around it, and the feeling and the sentiments of the Arabs are also undergoing a transformation, and it is a new Arab world, and it is facing a new challenge, and it is being isolated? So given this fact, can Israel rethink its strategy towards Palestine?
Do you think that the Israeli leadership now is understanding that they are going against the wheel of history? Do you think that they can understand that the changes which are happening since time in the region would lead that the way that they are dealing with the issues in the region and even their own issues can be acceptable? I think that the Israelis are more than one part, maybe that they are more than two even. The current leadership of Israel is not understanding what's happening in the region, and they think that they can continue as they are soldiers, as they are officers of occupation, and they continue their way. I think that they would need, and very quickly, to change their way of thinking. And maybe this may need the change of the political leadership. And this is something related to their democracy, to their elections. Would their people accept the existence of these persons who are taking Israel towards a way that they cannot be accepted from any other one? Look at the world. The world is refusing all the actions of Israel.
Are there any voices within Israeli society that criticize the policy of the Netanyahu government towards Palestine, and particularly the feeling that his policies are isolating Israel in the world?
Yes, we can hear these voices, but they are still very weak. Maybe in the last few weeks you have heard some kind of beginning of spring inside Israel. But I'm saying that it is still very weak, and you cannot find a real change happening in Israel. But after we finish the UN issue, I think that all the Israelis will wake up suddenly to find that there is a new era has started, a new image has been shaped and is posted in the region of the Middle East. So they have to deal with the reality with a different way. One of these consequences that will happen, that the Israeli people and the political powers there will find that this political leadership did not go in a correct way in solving this question. So they would need to have a solution with this current leadership, and maybe if they have real democracy, I don't know if they have it, they would do something democratically or in another way, maybe in another spring, but it will not be an Arab, it will be something different.
Another break.
Another break.
We will continue. नाज़रीन, एक और मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं, और ब्रेक से वापसी के बाद हम पाकिस्तान में फ़लस्तीन के सफ़ीर से गुफ्तगू जो है फ़लस्तीन के मुस्तक़बिल के हवाले से, और अगर यूनाइटेड नेशंस में जो ये मूव कर रहे हैं कि फ़लस्तीन को एक आज़ाद रियासत के तौर पर अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा का रुकन बनाया जाए, अगर ये नाकाम होती है तो उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस और नताइज क्या हो सकते हैं। Welcome back. Is Pakistan supporting Palestine in this move to be a member of the United Nations?
Pakistan always supported Palestine. Pakistan, since its creation, is supporting Palestine. I will tell you something that I said before, which is Pakistan was created in 1947. And the issue of Palestine was started in 1947-48. When Palestine was falling down, Pakistan was rising up, which means that the hope is still existed. Now Pakistan, with the establishment, the creation, and with the stability of being existed, means that the hope is going to give the real hope to the people that suffered for that time. We are going up, and we are going to be recreated, not created, recreated again, and we are going to be another member to our brothers here in Pakistan. So we will have again the same saying, Pakistan and Palestine, again on the maps, and again working together in the UN.
Hopefully. And what about, did you do some lobbying here in Islamabad to convince the Pakistani government and policymakers that this is high time that they should support or lend their support to Palestine to present their position or their stance at the United Nations?
Do you think any politician here in Pakistan, do you think any normal, usual, simple person in Pakistan among the 180 million persons would need anyone to lobby or to convince him with the rights of the Palestinians?
But there is an impression.
I think that all the Pakistanis, everyone,
yes, at the people's level, yes.
At the people's level and among the politicians. If you want to hear from me, and you are insisting, as I see, yes, we dealt with everyone. We just had a talk, and everyone was, once we started to talk, I started to talk, and he directly gave me, we never let you down, and we will never let you down. We are going with you to your hope, which is our hope, is to have our independent state of Palestine. So it's not only a dream of the Palestinians to have Palestine. It's a dream of the 180 persons, 180
million Pakistanis as well.
You know, every place. Although the Pakistanis are facing floods, and they are facing calamities, and they are facing catastrophes, and they are facing everything, but they are still thinking of Palestine. While we were, and we are still, having our calamity in Palestine, and our catastrophe, and the bombings from the Israeli planes and shooting from every place of the Israeli soldiers, we never stop thinking of Pakistan. We are always with you, and you are always with us. I don't doubt that.
Ambassador, what about the Palestinian unity? Palestinians are united today, or they are not? Because
in May, my brother, last May, President Mahmoud Abbas went to Egypt, and came there the representatives of all the Palestinian fragments. Even Khalid Mish'al of Hamas, he came there. There, Mish'al gave a speech, an address, he addressed a speech, and he said, President Abbas, we are behind you, and we are going with you to the place that you want. And you can go to the UN or wherever to find a solution, to try to find a solution. So in May, we signed an agreement between each others of the reconciliation.
Al-Fatah and Hamas. Both.
Fatah, Hamas, and all the fragments, not only Fatah and Hamas. Maybe the issue is in the media that Fatah and Hamas. Hamas is again, should be under the umbrella of the PLO and should be committed to the decisions of the PLO. Maybe there is still some voices inside Hamas, but not all Hamas. Some voices are not understanding the changes that happened in their mentality, in the mentality of the leadership. Let's give them some little chance. But what we have on the papers, on the documents, on the ceremonies, with the attendance of representatives of all over the world, that Hamas is in unity status with Fatah and with the PLO. So it means that we are all united. President Mahmoud Abbas is going to the UN, representing all the Palestinians. We elected him freely and democratically, directly in direct elections, and he is representing all of us, including Hamas, which are representing 12 to 15% of the Palestinians inside Palestine.
There are 5 permanent members, P5, of the Security Council. You think that other members, except the United States of America, are on your side, or their position has changed?
We heard good words from everyone. Let's hope, and let's, in this program, would say that even that there is no necessary, there is no means, there is no reason to use a veto, even from the Americans, against the Palestinian will and the international community will. Let's hope from now until the time of voting that no one, including the United States, will vote against the Palestinian application. I think that it would be very correct from everyone to go supportively for the independence of Palestine and to recreate Palestine on the lands of 1967 with Jerusalem as its capital, its eternal capital, inshallah, and with keeping the right of the refugees to go back home in Palestine, that we were, and I'm a refugee, you know that we were kicked out from our land under the threatening of the weapons and the Israeli aggression. We want to go back to our homes. I want to go back to my grandfather's house inside Palestine. And everyone would like to do that from the Palestinians. We want to smell the flowers there, and we want to plant the olive there, and we want to squeeze it and to have the oil again. We want to live normally just like any other people all over the world. No need for the veto.
What is the reaction of the UN Secretary General when you first contacted him and presented your case to him to take it to the Security Council?
Yesterday, Mr. President visited Mr. Secretary General, and he informed him formally that on Friday, 23rd, he would address the General Assembly and would deliver the request, the application of our recognition. His Excellency, the Secretary General, he said that I am supporting the solution depending of 2 states, Palestine and Israel. So we have his support. Any human that believes in justice would support that, and I think that almost everyone is with us, inshallah.
Thank you, Ambassador, for being with us in this show. नाज़रीन, आज हमने गुफ्तगू की है पाकिस्तान में फ़लस्तीन के सफ़ीर हाज़िम अबू शनाब से, और उन्होंने हमें बताया कि फ़लस्तीन ने फैसला कर लिया है कि वो अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा में जनरल असम्बली में अपना केस पेश करेगा, और उन्होंने फैसला किया है कि वो ये रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा से, जनरल असम्बली से और सिक्योरिटी कौंसिल से कि उन्हें एक इंडिपेंडेंट रियासत के तौर पर, इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट के तौर पर अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा का रुकन बनाया जाए। लेकिन बहुत से मुखालफतें भी हो रही हैं, जिनमें अमेरिका है, इसराइल है, और वो नहीं चाहता कि ये रुकन बने, लेकिन इन्होंने अपना केस जो है वहां पेश करना है। To add something.
Yes, a last word. I would ask all the Pakistani people, all the 180 million persons in Pakistan, to go on the Friday prayer, namaz, and to pray for Palestine and for its independence. I would ask all the imams of all the mosques to do that for Palestine and for liberty.
Yes, they will, inshallah. नाज़रीन, इसके साथ ये प्रोग्राम खत्म होता है। जावेद सिद्दीक को इजाज़त दीजिए। खुदा हाफ़िज़। थैंक यू एक्सीलेंस।
शुक्रान जज़ीला।
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
I'll meet you in Palestine, inshallah.
इंशाल्लाह।